Well, hello everyone and happy Friday. It is WAFF digital host A.J. Wuest back here at the 48 Now desk. Now, this is Before the Four, and if you are returning to Before the Four, I want to thank you for joining back with me and spending just a little bit of your Friday afternoon with me. And if you're new to Before the Four, you've never heard of this is your first time seeing this, I want to welcome you. This is just a little interactive live stream where I go live on Facebook, I go live on YouTube, and our website, and I just talk about WAFF's top stories before the evening newscasts. Now, of course, we shall jump into our top story right now, and the top story is in national news. Now, I'm sure you've all heard by now, but it was a historic verdict yesterday as a New York jury found former President Donald Trump guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records in his hush money trial. Now, this makes Trump the first former president to be convicted of a crime. First, hear from NBC senior correspondent Laura Jarrett as she dissects this historic verdict.
This morning, Donald Trump securing a new place in history, the first American president convicted of a crime. A Manhattan jury finding Mr. Trump guilty of falsifying his business records to cover up a conspiracy to corrupt the 2016 election.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Jurors deliberating for just 9.5 hours after hearing from more than 20 witnesses over 6 weeks of testimony. Mr. Trump expressionless as the verdict was read swiftly, guilty 34 times. The former president craning his neck to see jurors as they were each asked to confirm their verdict. Mr. Trump's lead attorney speaking with Savannah this morning.
It's 9 hours of deliberation for a 7-week case. The jury dispensed with this in rather short order, and it was a sweeping victory for the prosecution. Are you surprised at how quickly it came and the rejection of the defense case in its entirety?
I mean, surprise is probably the wrong word. That's what juries do. This was a verdict that we were expecting. We're going to appeal, and we're going to win on appeal.
Still, the outcome a resounding victory for Manhattan prosecutors, led by Democratic District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who campaigned on holding Mr. Trump accountable, and whom the former president has repeatedly attacked as politically motivated. The trial, a byproduct of a years-long saga, a sordid tale beginning with an alleged one-night stand between the then reality TV star and a porn star, which Mr. Trump has vehemently denied. A story that bubbled up at an inopportune time in 2016, with Mr. Trump in damage control after the Access Hollywood tape leaked, scrambling, prosecutors said, to bury any stories that could have hurt his election chances. His former fixer, Michael Cohen, testifying he was directed to pay off Stormy Daniels, and then Mr. Trump approved a scheme to reimburse Cohen, covering their tracks through a phony paper trail.
The jury has spoken.
Now, the former president also held a press conference this morning at 10, and here's a little of what he had to say.
Hush money, hush money. It's not hush money. It's called the non-disclosure agreement. And most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with their company. It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal, totally common.
And President Joe Biden also spoke about his thoughts on the historic verdict. Take a listen.
So I'm guilty on all 34 felony counts. Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. So I'm guilty.
Now stick around for tonight's newscast on what's next for Trump now that he has been convicted of 34 felony crimes. Now let's head into some local news. Let me pull up the circle box for you all. Today in Decatur, police held a press conference where they spoke about some updates and important information. Now, 48's Matthew King, he was there today, and he will have more on this press conference coming up in just a few minutes. So make sure you stick around, and also stick around for what's next for Mac Bailey Marquette, the Decatur police officer charged with the shooting death of Stephen Perkins after the gag order hearing just a few weeks ago. Now out in the Shoals, and this is a crazy story right now, but Aria Pons will be updating you on a store raid in Lauderdale County where 2 people were arrested at an HT General Merchandise. Now officials say they found 200 bottles of T-antipene and packages of kratom, both illegal substances in the state of Alabama, just up for sale to customers. Now, officials say both substances were hidden in the back of the store. Now, this certain business is within a mile from both Wilson Elementary School and Wilson High School. T-antipene has been described in the past as gas station heroin, Zaza, Tiana, and Tiana Red. So make sure you stay tuned to our evening newscast for updates from Aria on this story. Now, in sports, this is the Cinderella story we've all been waiting for in this state. Today is the day for Birmingham Southern baseball. Now, it might not be a college anymore, but the baseball team certainly lives on. Right now, they are starting off their game against Salve Regina in the Division III College World Series. Now, trading card company Topps, they recently announced that they will be making an official trading card to commemorate the Panthers. And if you look on screen right now, that is what the trading card will look like. It is certainly pretty cool, and I, of course, am rooting for Birmingham Southern baseball. I want them to go all the way. They're just 5 wins away, and I certainly need to get me one of those cards. But super cool stuff right there. I wish them the best of luck. Now, with hurricane season only a few days away, our friends out there at KWTX in Waco, Texas, they recently brought in Dr. William Blackwell with NASA to speak about a new NASA mission that will allow meteorologists to see changes in hurricanes faster. Let's take a listen.
So, Dr. Blackwell, I love all the acronyms that it comes up with. What does TROPICS stand for?
Yeah, that's a long one. It's the timer's observation of precipitation structure and storm intensity with a constellation of small sats.
So how much time did it take y'all to come up with one that fit a kind of a weather balance?
It was hard. We did spend quite a bit of time capture all the things that the mission does. There's quite a bit of new innovation here, and so the acronym actually ties back to the weather we're trying to study.
So what is the ultimate goal of the TROPICS mission?
We don't get today with our state-of-the-art weather satellites flying microwave sensor is revisit rate. So we have only a very small handful of these giant satellites that orbit in polar orbits. Every 12 hours they revisit a point on the ground. We have a few of these satellites. We have to wait on the order of 4 to 6 hours before the next satellite flies over and images a storm. So with TROPICS, we wanted to reduce the complexity and the cost of the sensors, make them smaller, easier to build and launch more of them. We have a constellation of 4 satellites, and these make much more frequent revisits of the storm. So now we're getting storm observations on the order of 1 hour with a median revisit. So it's a much faster revisit. So with TROPICS, looking at the storm environment, the temperature and the amount of moisture in the air surrounding the storm, and we want to see how that changes as the storm spins up and intensifies. And we want to measure the precipitation and the rain bands of the storm, looking at the structure, the asymmetries, the eye wall structure, and capture all those things with very high revisit rates.
When most people think...
Fancy stuff right there, and I'm sure they will certainly be putting it to use. Now, tomorrow marks National Trail Day, and today I got the chance to speak with Marketing Director for Land Trust of North Alabama. Her name was Melanie Manson, and she talked a little bit about the history of National Trail Day and some of the beautiful places you can find here in the Tennessee Valley so that you can celebrate accordingly. Let's watch. June 1st, is National Trails Day. And today I am joined with Miss Melanie Manson, who is the Marketing Director for Land Trust of North Alabama. Melanie, thank you so much for joining in with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So first, can you talk a little bit about the history of National Trails Day and really how that came about?
Sure. So National Trails Day is hosted by the American Hiking Society, and the goal is really just to make people aware of all of the outdoor recreation opportunities that they can find close to home and encourage them to get outdoors and enjoy nature and experience what there is to offer in their community. There's lots of trails available in North Alabama, so we luckily have a great variety of options to choose from.
Very true. I have to agree 100% with you. I am new to the Huntsville area, but it is just so gorgeous up here. So many nature preserves. I actually live kind of near the Hayes Nature Preserve, so I walk around there a lot. But what are some things, people who are watching at home, how can they celebrate National Trails Day accordingly?
Yeah, so this Saturday, June 1st, is actually the official National Trails Day. Unfortunately, here in our local area, it looks like the weather may not cooperate, but Sunday looks like it's going to be a little better, and luckily, all of the Land Trust's nature preserves are open daily and free to access, so really any day you can take advantage of those opportunities and get outside. So we have 10 nature preserves in our area, and all of those offer 80 miles of trails combined. But you can also check out all the other places available to you, the state park, or several state parks in our area. And then, you just can look at a variety of options around the region to, depending on what kind of outdoor recreation you're interested in. There's hiking, kayaking, biking, just whatever you're looking for, it's probably there. So I just really encourage people to visit our website and then also just take a look at what might be available close by, explore those places, and then another way that you can get involved in your local trails is by giving back and volunteering. Most trail organizations are always happy to have volunteers to help out and provide assistance with trail maintenance and that kind of thing.
June 1st. Super awesome, and she is not wrong at all. There is certainly many options out here in the Tennessee Valley. I think she mentioned like 10 different nature preserves that you have the option of exploring for National Trails Day, of course. The one I've checked out the most here since I moved up to Huntsville in January, I've been at the Hayes Nature Preserve Trail, which is also a very beautiful trail. When I'm not working, if you go to the Hayes Nature Preserve, you might see me walking around because it is just awesome. But there is nothing better than nature, getting outside and just, having a great time, getting a little bit of a tan. There's just nothing like it. And especially here in the summertime, we're heading into the hotter months, so I'm a big fan of hot weather, so I'm excited to spend my first summer here in Huntsville. But yes, go out and celebrate National Trail Day. Now, I don't know how the weather's going to react. Hopefully, I'm rooting for it to be a nice day tomorrow. I think it might possibly be a nice day on Sunday, but make sure you stick around for tonight's forecast from meteorologist Chelsea Aaron as she keeps you in the loop of how the weather should pan out this weekend. So yes, National Trail Day, you're not going to want to miss it. Now, speaking of things you just don't want to miss, kitchen cops. Certainly not going to want to miss kitchen cops and find out where the coppers found some chicken oozing into some fresh produce. Now, that just does not sound very appetizing to me. But you can actually find that story on our website right now at WAFF.com. Now, other stories you just don't want to miss. A 12-year-old girl from Mobile in an international archery competition, and of course, the launching of Starliner. It is still on. So stick around for more of these stories you're just not going to want to miss. Well, it is Friday, and if you all watched Before the Four last Friday, you might be aware that we aired The Good Side. So we're going to do it again. This week, The Good Side features a cat receiving a college degree. Pretty paw-tastic. Let's watch.
I was asked, what's your affiliation with the college? I'm like, well, my cat is the emotional support animal. He likes to be carried around on backpacks, so students pick him up and he crawls up on their back.
A local legend and a popular pet around the campus at Vermont State University's Castleton campus. An outdoor cat named Max has gained the hearts and minds of students and faculty alike.
I'll pet him, give him a quick hug. He's always super friendly. He's always super sweet. Sometimes I see him chasing like little animals, but that was when he's younger. He doesn't do that as much anymore.
Max lives a few steps away from Castleton's campus on Seminary Street. Ashley Dow and her family got him from Fairhaven 4 years ago. The admissions office says sometimes he's the highlight of the campus tours they give to prospective students and visitors.
He comes out and he actually greets most of our guests. He'll follow them over to our old chapel where they'll get their general welcome, and then when they start their tour, he usually follows right along with them.
Vermont State University recently posted on their Facebook that the feline is receiving his doctorate in literature. Faculty say on top of his pseudo-studies, he's a big help to students, especially during a busy week of finals.
You can see him enlighten students up. Day to day, I look out my window and I see him walking along and I see students put down their phones and pick up Max, and he jumps on their back and they're taking selfies with him, and he draws the crowds.
As the school year nears its end and university students head home for the summer, Max is bracing for a confusing time. Dow says breaks can confound the feline and throw him off his normal self.
He'll go up looking and then come back, and he's kind of disappointed, kind of sad, and he'll stick around the house more, but it's like he forgot they came back in the spring after one of the breaks, and he hasn't really gone back up.
The Dow family looks forward to spending a bit more time with him this summer as he waits for his family down the road to return to Castleton for another school year.
He's very lovable because like almost every night I go to do my nighttime routine. He's upstairs with me, like hanging out with me.
There was a while that he just stayed on campus, like he would forget to come home. The students will come back, in the fall, and he'll be gone for 3 days, and we'll have to go looking for him, and he's up there, up on campus hanging out, waiting for his people.
Reporting in Castleton, Connor Olathorn, Channel 3 News.
Super cool stuff right there. Yeah, that story reminds me a little bit. I have to shout out my alma mater, Belmont University. It's up there in Nashville, Tennessee. But we had a campus cat similar to that. Her name was Belle. Shout out Belle. She was super awesome. Everyone around campus would feed her. They would pet her. That is a super awesome story right there. But yes, shout out Belmont, shout out Belle, and yeah, I love cats. I'm thinking I might need to get a cat soon. I'm not sure. But things going on this weekend. What can you do this weekend? Well, you have quite a bit of options. June Jam, of course, is out there in Fort Payne. Also, the world's longest running cigar box guitar festival. I don't think I am going to play that video for you all this time. I've played it for you all at least a solid 4 or 5 times now, and I'm gonna guess you guys are a little sick of that video, but there is a video on 48 Now on our website of me playing a cigar box guitar festival, and it's also an interview, so you can check that out if you haven't seen it at WAFF.com. Go to the digital show section, and it's on 48 Now. And another thing going on this weekend, if you're out in the Shoals, there is also the Street Rod Fest going on out there. So no matter what you're doing this weekend, make sure you have fun doing it. And also don't forget, the Alabama hands-free law fully goes into effect tomorrow, so make sure you get off that phone when driving, or you might just have to pay a price. Now, if you are returning to Before the Four, you all know the drill. We like to end this show with a little Facebook fun segment where we ask you guys a question on Facebook throughout the day, and we wait for you all to respond, and then I pick a few of my favorite responses. But let's pull up today's question. And today's question, of course, was what's a movie that never gets old? Oh, there's so many to name. That is hard. But let's see what you all had to say. You said Miracle, yes, great hockey movie. Herb Brooks, of course, a legendary hockey coach. The Miracle on Ice team, the 1980 U.S. hockey team that defeated the Soviet Union. That is one of the greatest moments in American history, but I'm a little biased on that. But let's see what else. Lynn Dean said Troy, another amazing movie. I got that very good movie. I think I might be watching Troy tonight because Lynn Dean said that. So thank you for commenting. Let's see. Titanic, that's another one that is an iconic one. Jim Martin, he has commented before. He is a big fan of his Piggly Wigglies. But he said, Babe, the Pig in the City. It makes him think of his hometown Piggly Wiggly out in Phil Campbell. Thank you for commenting, Jim. And last one. Happy Gilmore, of course, you cannot go wrong with Adam Sandler. But Rusty, thank you for commenting. But I am just about all out of time, but I want to thank you all for watching Before the Four and spending just a little bit of your Friday afternoon with me. I hope you all have a great weekend, and as we like to end every Before the Four, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great weekend.